You gotta get that glitch under control, kid.
Okay, I will. And then you think I got a chance?
Tiny.
Yes, I'm gonna win!
Top shelf.
Top shelf!
Dwellers, and welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library. I felt like singing a song at the beginning because that's what TC usually does. Hey!
That's right. Normally I do.
oh, this time TC's doing all the voices in the background. Oh, that's great. I got nothing.
Hello, Jeff.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Hello, TC. How you doing?
I'm good. Here we are, back again.
Back again to watch yet another movie. Ah, great movie, too. Mm-hmm. What movie did we watch, JC? Do you know what movie we watched this week?
I do. We watched the 2012 Wreck-It Ralph.
Ooh,
wait, am I supposed to specify that this is an animated movie, or at this point are people aware that we're watching the library from Snow White to Moana?
I feel like after 51 episodes, unless you literally just blindly turn to this episode on, you know these are all animated films.
Yeah.
But I guess... just to reiterate, we are in fact watching all the animated films from Snow White all the way up to Moana. Funny enough, there's a sequel to this movie coming out this year that we're recording it later in this year. That there's a good chance we might do an episode for, even though that'll be past the end of the show. So
that's fine. Yeah. For now we're discussing this movie and continuing the revival era that we've seen with Tangled, and we did allow Bolt and Winnie the Pooh to be a part of the revival as well. We allowed it. We've decided. We are the...
because our say is the important say.
We are the Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios podcast.
There's no other podcast like our podcast. Yeah. Don't search for it.
Don't Google it. You don't need to. I know people like, oh, there's other. No. So Jeff, did you see this movie before? Had you seen it in theaters? This wasn't a new experience for you? I take it.
No, this definitely was not a new experience. We are fully in. I mean, with the last 5 films we're doing here, we're fully in the movies that I have seen. We've caught back up. We're out of that era of I've never seen this movie before,
right?
And I was alive during this time, and I'd never seen it. We are fully out of that. So this one I never saw in theaters, but I did see, it at home when it came on home video.
Okay, yeah, I saw this in theaters multiple times, and yes, we are in this. It's 2012. You know, we are hardly removed from this movie. This is so fresh, and as much as nostalgia played a big part in how we reviewed the Renaissance era and out of it, and maybe some childhood memories of the older films that we like, Cinderella and whatnot. I do think that how fresh these last movies are makes it a little difficult to critique and to analyze and to dig into. I mean, we're certainly going to do our best to do so, and I'm not saying we're going to do a bad job. It's just the perspective. We don't have the distance. We don't have the time away from this movie or any of the ones to follow to truly form like a well-informed, years-long, like over a decade-old opinion about it. And that's interesting to me to be able to discuss these movies so fresh that there are certainly people who are probably just seeing this for the first time. I know you watched it with someone who had never seen it before.
Yeah, definitely. And I had not known that going into it. I assumed she had seen it, for that matter.
Yeah.
And so like we were sitting there talking, and she was asking me questions about it, and I was trying not to like spoil the end of the film.
Yeah.
Because just in case, in my head, I never like to say anything. I'm like, oh yeah, well that's obviously the bad guy. Like I don't want to say something like that. And
it's great rewatching this though. I've seen this movie multiple times. It's one of my. One of the movies I carry on my tablet at all times. So I'm not saying that I have like an undying affection for it, such as Jeff's bias towards Beauty and the Beast. But I really genuinely like this movie.
Sorry,
when this movie came out, it came out I believe the same year as Brave, and I felt, having seen both of them, that they were released by the wrong studio. Looking at where Wreck-It Ralph is now in the Disney Animated Library, it certainly fits. It fits this new era we're in. But Brave, also coming out in 2012 and being a Pixar movie, it felt so much different than what Pixar had been doing. Wreck-It Ralph felt like Pixar, and Brave felt like Disney.
Yeah,
I have not
I definitely
seen-
remember feeling that same way.
Yeah, I haven't seen Brave again. Well, playing it while babysitting doesn't count. I haven't sat down and truly watched Brave again since seeing it in theaters. Whereas Wreck-It Ralph, I've seen multiple times. I don't know if that opinion for Brave will stick in terms of it not feeling like a true Pixar film. But Wreck-It Ralph, watching it in the order we've watched these in, considering this revival era of Disney greatness, it absolutely fits with this new era of Disney.
Absolutely.
Does not feel like an anomaly anymore.
No, it absolutely feels exactly like it's in the right spot because we've discussed on Tangled that you could see. I mean, even going back, I suppose you could argue with going back to Bolt, and you could see that Disney was trying to find their new way. You hit Tangled, and they just nailed it. They found their voice. They found the timing and the comedic, like the facial expressions and the quality of the animation. Even with Tangled, they hit it. They found it. And with Wreck-It Ralph, it's that level that Tangled set, and it's a step up from it. You have fantastic animation. You have one of the things I love about this movie because it's a movie that takes place inside like video games, more or less, in a video game world. I love that certain characters have different frame rate animations.
Yeah,
to them.
the physics of 8-bit characters moving very, that stilted animation, very, very clever. The amount of detail in the design in this is phenomenal. I went to a speaking engagement with the creators of Wreck-It Ralph. I got to go. It was the Disney. Well, Lasseter wasn't there, but it was the lead animators and the director and the production designer, just discussing the technical development of Wreck-It Ralph and how they were sent around the world to experience true locations that then they would have to turn into candy locations, so that Sugar Rush had a real world feel while also being this fantastical video game world. That they engaged with countless old school video game developers to really lock in the science or the physics of all these characters. And I honestly feel like had there been more foresight from some of the companies, we probably would have seen more cameos from characters like Mario or more famous arcade characters, because there are quite a number of great cameos throughout this whole thing. A lot of like look in the background stuff.
And here's my opinion regarding that. Like, yeah, it would have been great to have seen more. Because obviously, like in the arcade room, there's a handful of like that the opening arcade shot where the camera's slowly pulling back, the time lapse over the 30 years. There's obviously a lot of games in there that aren't real games. You know, that they're obviously made up games while interspersed with real games. You know, like Asteroids and stuff like that. But at the same time, I personally am okay with the level of real things in the game with kind of some made up stuff, because I have, and I, not to name drop any terrible movies, the Emoji Movie, but
I did. That was mentioned in our post for this week.
Yeah. Some of these movies run the dangerous, like the very fine line of having too many references, having too many characters, too many properties in it, and it just becomes this big mush of just references, and you lose the story at that point.
I 100% agree that if they had inundated us with in-your-face references, that would have harmed the movie. Because this movie is the way they developed the universe was that Wreck-It Ralph has been around for 30 years.
Right.
I guess 2012, so 1982. That it exists in a world where Wreck-It Ralph has always been there, so it doesn't need to have so many references. That's what the movie's for. And it's a difference between the really, really sharp, witty writing and script and design and everything that this movie is, versus a lazier approach would be like, Candy Crush, right? Candy, Facebook, right? The thumbs up fit. Yeah, the like, we're railing on the Emoji Movie, but there are other movies that would have taken this too far. And
Right, but I feel like railing on the Emoji Movie is a good equivalent to this same film, but being taken too far.
Yeah,
Not the same film, the same concept of this world within technology that we are all aware of.
And I don't want to go on a tangent about Wreck-It Ralph 2 because we haven't seen it yet, but that's my concern is because the Emoji Movie exists that Wreck-It Ralph 2, which is going into the Ralph Breaks the Internet, that there is that risk of, okay, is this just going to be... And I trust Laster, I trust Disney that it won't be that, and I feel like this will be a Shark Tale Finding Nemo situation where it's like, oh no, Finding Nemo didn't lean in on all the low-hanging fruit. Shark Tale did.
Right.
That is not to say that there isn't ample amounts of candy puns in Wreck-It Ralph, but Jeff, I love every one of them.
Let's see here, some candy puns that they talked about. What about the fact that the two cops are named Duncan and Winchell? And they're both donuts. Guys, they're both donut brands.
It's layered, and cops eat donuts. It's a whole thing. And cops eat
donuts. Right? Well, and see, that's the thing. That is exactly what I loved about the references. Because while we're saying like I'm happy with the amount, like the minimal amount of references or pop culture references in this film, that's not to say that there isn't only a few. That there's still a ton of references. They're just done very. They're written very well. They're written just kind of, a lot of them almost as just kind of a throwaway gag, you know?
Yeah.
And that's good enough. Like the fact that the whole Grand Central Terminal Station, which is basically the which is just the surge protector.
It's the power strip, yeah.
Yeah, it's the power strip. But like, there's constantly wide shots in that room, and there's tons of game characters in there. Like the Pong people are in there. There's the chef from Burger Time is giving a burger to Qbert and his people, and like, but they're tiny little characters. There's just, it's a visual sight that if you blinked, you probably missed it. And that's perfect.
Yeah, it's the attention to detail. And speaking of the writing, this script is so sharp. The exposition that has to happen throughout this film is pretty well handled. You know, like I think the most on the nose one is when he's crossing through the Grand Central Station and he passes Sonic, and Sonic is like, remember, if you die in someone else's game, you die in real life. And that's a little on the nose, but it does play off like one of those PSAs you'd see if you've ever been in a subway terminal, if you've ever been to Grand Central Station, those a little too loud announcements. Hell, if you've ever been to the airport, right? Like those announcements. So that little exposition moment, but everything else, like talking about like setting up, you're not going turbo, are you? That's in the first 8 minutes of the movie. Calhoun's situation, the cybugs, the glitch that Vanellope has, what Ralph wants, everything is so strategically placed in this movie from a script level that it is just so fantastically done.
Well, and like I want to bring up, I mean, we're 16 minutes in, we're about 15 minutes of this episode, but I do want to say, and again, spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen the movie.
Yes, this is another one of those movies that does have a twist in it. So yes, if you have not seen Wreck-It Ralph, please do yourself a favor and watch it. We are going to spoil it right now. Jeff, continue.
Right. I love the setup of the villain. Because, and I love that setup
King
of
Candy.
Don't go turbo. Yeah, and because honestly, and I've said this, I was telling this to Meg, the lady I was watching it with, the lady. But I was talking to her, I was telling her about it because I'm like you do not immediately see the twist coming.
No.
Because it's played out in where the information is given fast enough and quick and easy enough. And it's done in a spot where you just kind of like go, oh, okay, they explained what turbo is. And you kind of just forget about it because there's still a good stretch of the film left to the point where when it happens, not only is obviously, because Vanellope is the one, because he starts freaking out when he's chasing down Vanellope's car.
Right, because if she finishes the race, it resets the game and it ruins all his hard work. Yeah.
So when that starts happening, it's, even to the audience, it's kind of a, oh crap, oh it actually, and then it's one of those where you go, well duh, of course he's the bad guy because Turbo was a racer, and now we're in a race game, and of course it's the bad guy, and it's one of those.
Ralph says it best. He goes,
well-crafted.
"No way! Is that Turbo?" But like this is an element of detail, and once again, the more care that a production puts into a film, the stronger that film's going to be. The fact that on the console, Vanellope's in the first one of the first shots in the movie that you see her on the side of the console. It's in the background. You'd have to see this movie 10, 15 times before you notice it. The fact that she's driving King Candy's car, that's an attention to detail that says, oh, in the game, the royalty should be driving that vehicle. And there's little information that you would never see in your first, fifth, multiple viewings unless someone specifically pointed and said, look at that detail. And that goes to like something like after Diet Cola Mountain explodes, I'm watching it in the background and just watching the foam just slowly die off and fizzle off, and like that level of detail into just the bubble. Someone was assigned to making sure that the Diet Coke bubbles fizzled out appropriately.
Right. Well, and even that's like clever, because so the what's cool about this is that the movie is not just a video game reference. That or not even just an arcade game reference movie, because it could have very well have just stuck there. Mm-hmm. Just been all right. So it's just asteroids. It's just Donkey Kong. It's just original Mario. It's it's just those types of games. But the fact that there's pop culture references in this, stuff like. Again, like the Dunkin' Donuts, or stuff like that in Candy Crush, or Candy Crush, Sugar Rush,
Sugar Rush.
That there's Sugar Rush. That the whole like Coke Mentos thing, like that. But it's a game, but that's like a real life reference of a Mentos.
Who are you, the guy who makes
Coke.
the donuts?
Yeah, see, I love that there's other references in the world than just video games, and it's also but it's home consoles, it's handheld games, it's everything is referenced in this film.
Yeah, Konami code, up, down, left,
Konami
right,
codes.
left, right.
Yep. And it's not just from major companies either. I mean, yeah, you get some Nintendo characters, obviously, like Bowser, is in the bad guy meeting, and you get a bunch of like Sega things and some Capcom, but you get Pac-Man and Dig Dug, but then you get Frogger.
Tapper.
Like Frogger is referenced. Right. Yeah, root beer tappers, the bartender from you ask 90% of the people what the hell that game is, they're not gonna know. It's a real arcade game. Like
unless you've played tappers in a bar in the Midwest.
Yep, you're not gonna know, and that's what I like about it. It's not just one type of game. It's not just one tiny area of reference. It's all over the place, and you could argue that a lot of these characters are. They got Q*bert and Paperboy and Pong because no one's using them anymore. So I'm sure the people who owned the license just went, sure, please, just put us in the movie.
Yeah.
But that just makes it more rich, and it makes it feel like there's a bigger history to this world than just here's 4 real games and a bunch of made up ones.
Yeah, and the fact that the universe is so ripe with detail, it helps with the story, which is this journey of Ralph trying to be satisfied. This goes to what I think the revival era is giving us, which is that it's about the heroes needing to change themselves, not waiting for the world to change around them, which is more classic Disney library. That this revival era, like Bolt, like Rapunzel, you have to change who you are and be happy with who you are to be happy in your life. And I love that. I love this story. And for it being a video game movie, right? It's the hero's journey that Ralph goes on, and all the 4 main characters, Vanellope, Calhoun, and Felix, are great. And credit has to go to not just the script as we've been given it and the director, but they even allowed John C. Reilly to be a creative force he got an additional writing credit because he cared so much about Ralph as a character and the journey that this movie puts him on that he consulted, he gave ideas, and his ideas were part of what went into the film and built Ralph as a character. And that's fantastic. I think the most we've seen that previously would be Robin Williams being the genie and just Robin,
Right.
do your thing, and we'll make the genie around you. But this is more than that. This is John C. Reilly caring enough to want this movie to be the best it possibly can be, and a huge tip of the hat to Disney for allowing that to happen.
Well, and so many of the voice actors tend to come through on, like through these characters and the character's design, and you could tell he had some influence, not necessarily on the way that Ralph looked, but you can tell that he sounded passionate.
Yeah,
about this movie,
And
his
the four
vocal
main
performance
characters
came off.
Yeah, all their vocal performances do, and all the main characters look like this is another case where it's like this is perfectly animated to the cast. You can't imagine anyone else. Like Jane Lynch is Calhoun, Sarah Silverman is Vanellope. Just for the four, Jack McBrayer as well. Not Alan Tudyk. He doesn't look like King Candy.
That's not what Alan Tudyk
not
looked
what he
like.
looks like.
Does he look more like Turbo? I feel like he looks like more
I
like
think
Turbo.
but redhead.
I haven't
though.
watched Firefly in a while, so maybe he doesn't look the way I remember him.
Another thing that Disney did here was, and this is a rarity if anyone is aware of how animation is typically developed, many of these scenes, the voice actors acted together in the sound booth, which allowed for a lot more natural exchanging of dialogue. So there's quite a bit of improv in this, but it's appropriate improv. Because like I said, John C. Reilly becoming Ralph and wanting Ralph to be so real lent to, and that's expert improvisation. It's not just like all the Apatow movies where it's like, hey, just BS for as long as you want. It'll all go in, right? This is very contextual and tells and informs the character. And so to have him be able to act side by side with Sarah Silverman as Vanellope, or to have Jane Lynch and Jack McBrayer act together, just makes it that much more genuine of a performance from everybody involved. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, because then you get real responses, you get real reactions, you get real, like, even hesitations, stuff that they could potentially cut out. They could cut some of that stuff out of it, but you get that real moment.
Man. Yeah. And actually, since we're on here, Tudyk Watch. This is the beginning of Tudyk Watch, because Alan Tudyk
this is the beginning, isn't it?
voices a character in every movie for the rest of this library. And if I have it my way, Alan Tudyk will be the Jeffrey Ratzenberger of the Disney universe, and he will do a voice in every movie forever and ever.
I love listening to. I love Alan Tudyk is one of those actors that, like, again, he's one of those that if you say his name, you probably know who he is.
If you're a nerd and you appreciate geekdom, you damn well know who he is.
Because my first experience of him was playing the pirate from Dodgeball.
Yeah, you know what? I think that might be my first experience with him as well.
But I didn't know it was him until years later when I went back and I watched Dodgeball, and I went, who the crap does Alan Tudyk play in this film? He plays the pirate? What? But like, I always remembered his character from that, and then from Firefly, and then I knew he did the voice of the robot from iRobot. Like,
That's
that
right.
was
He's
my
Sonny and iRobot.
Yeah, those are my 3 Alan Tudyk movies that I knew about. And it's so, and obviously now he does a lot of, he's got a great voice. I love listening to his voice talk.
Oh yeah, he's got great range as well. Like it's not like Phil Harris that's Baloo. We're hearing Baloo. I know it's Little John.
Okay.
I know it's Thomas O'Malley, but that's
Baloo.
Baloo, right? It's not that. He's to compare King Candy here and Turbo, which are 2 very different voices, to the Duke of Weselton in next week's movie. And then he does Baymax. He does Duke Weaselton in Zootopia, and he's Hey in Moana. Like, that's a really wide range of performances.
And it's great. It's great to see that, have like that he's got that much, like you said, he's got that much range. He's got that much vocal skills to be able to kind of bounce around from character to character, and it's still being like, yeah, those are very unique characters.
To do an impression of Ed Wynn. Good job.
Oh yeah. Which, you know what? I love that Disney at this point, which I would like to know the backstory as to why King Candy, right?
King Candy. Yep.
Right? Yeah, why he was designed to look like a lot like the Mad Hatter? Like, why was that? Like,
to look like Ed Wynn is honestly what.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And then he just does the voice And he is doing Edwin. Come on, you guys.
Well, his agent booked him the audition by telling Disney and the voice casting department, "Hey, Alan Tudyk does a spot on Ed Wynn." And then he went to Alan Tudyk and said, "Hey, you need to learn how to do a spot on Ed Wynn because I just got you an audition for Wreck-It Ralph."
Oh wow, nothing like a little bit forceful there. And
Yeah.
just like,
But this is I don't know what drew them to design it after Ed Wynn. I part of me wonders if someone had been sketching out designs for what King Candy could look like, and then someone went, "Hey, that looks like Ed Wynn," and then everyone started doing the impression of him, and then it stuck. But it's another attention to detail because right out of the gate, King Candy does not look like any of the other racers, which have a very anime chibi style. For Sugar Rush, he does not look like that, so that's another level of detail. But I would almost bet that's how Ed Wynn got referenced.
well, because it's funny because there is something that I had noticed. I think it registered finally this time because I was paying attention to it because I knew who he was.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I've seen this movie hundreds of times. I know that he's the bad guy. But like the one thing that I noticed this time that registered was that because Turbo has a helmet on. The shape of his head is this large helmet on the top, and then it's a small chin underneath. So his head is kind of like a balloon.
Right.
Now, King Candy's head shape fits the outside of that shape.
He just created a skin for his avatar.
Right, right, and basically that's what he did. So there's a part of me that's like, okay, so I wonder if they designed the villain to be a old school 8-bit racer, and then they went, well, okay, well and they went back to like what you were saying, where they probably started doing sketches. And they're like, well, maybe we should try to encase his head inside of a skin. And
that looks like Ed Wynn.
Yeah, and I wonder if that is the process.
I would bet. I'll tell you what. The first time I saw this, the joke that sold me, and I'm like, I love this movie. As soon as it was one of the puns, and there's so many wonderful puns in this, and maybe because they're pretty much all delivered by Alan Tudyk as King Candy, as Ed Wynn.
Yes,
it's when they're escaping the bakery with Vanellope's car, and Winchell and Duncan go, "Are you okay, sir?" And he goes, "Yes, they just glazed me." Huh. That joke, when that joke hit, I'm like, that's it. This movie can do whatever it wants at this point. I'm all in.
You win, movie.
He just glazed me. And then he laughs at it, too, like knowing full well. Oh, man.
He knows he's funny. I mean, that's the thing. He knows he's funny. So.
But what a cool villain. Oftentimes you can say, I feel like it's safe to say about adventure and sci-fi, fantasy, genre films, that you're only as strong as your villain, right? And
right.
King Candy has such a complexity to him that we haven't really seen from previous Disney villains. He certainly has hubris about him, but his desperate desire to exist. It is similar to Mother Gothel in like doing whatever it takes to live and survive, but at the expense of everyone else. Because honestly, the game universe here proves that they are willing to let characters who have lost their games exist in new consoles. I think that's why Ralph learned a lesson, Felix learned a lesson in letting Qbert and the other forgotten gameless avatars get a bonus level in Fix-It Felix Jr., the arcade game. So they are willing to take a character who's lost the game and let them exist in a new one, right?
Right.
But Turbo was only out for himself, and his jealousy and rage. It's such a neat, complex villain with a very, very smart plan. Like his reprogramming of Sugar Rush is pretty fantastic.
Right, and actually, it's a plan that works for quite a long time.
Yeah,
Again, like you referencing Mother Gothel, her plan worked for a long time.
18 years. Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm gonna be evil. Oh, and now I'm dead. Like it's not that. It was. I'm gonna do this and this and this and this and this, and I'm gonna survive, and no one's gonna know about it. And haha, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, it's working, and that's it. And it's by like sheer dumb luck that the right person came along that ultimately broke it.
Yeah,
broke his plan.
It's something that struck me this time in that. So Calhoun's a new game, right? So she doesn't know who Felix is. She doesn't know who Ralph is. The hero's duty, that liquid U. You have to say duty, otherwise it sounds like you're saying duty. You know what? Is it hypocritical of me that I accept that poop joke so willingly?
I made a joke. I made a note of it. I made a note of that one, and I made a note of like the Verp reference. And I went, "Oh, Disney!" But you know what? So much of this movie is good. I'll let it go.
I'm so forgiving of that. I don't know. But anyway, where I was getting at is that Sugar Rush is a newer game. Ralph knows what it is. Like, it's that candy racing game. But Vanellope doesn't know who Ralph is. The other characters don't know who he is. King Candy knows who he is, because King Candy has been in that arcade for a very long time. When Ralph shows up, he immediately recognizes him. And that is another telling sign that something's up with King Candy. Because he's like, Ralph.
See, and that is a subtle reference. That is a subtle dialogue. You can easily overlook that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That is something that you do not necessarily have to catch unless you are paying attention and specifically looking for that. And that's what makes that work really well for repeated viewings. And I don't know if I've ever said it on this podcast, but when it comes to like my movies and even in certain TV shows, I am a huge fan of something that I will watch that thing all the way through, get to the ending and go, crap, I need to watch it again. Not because I missed it, but because I went, oh, I need to rewatch it because I have a completely different opinion about this film the second time around that I want. Now I can piece things together because, I actually know the whole time it was this, and that makes a good movie. That it makes you want to pop it back in, and this movie just definitely does that because of those little lines.
The rewatchability, like any good video game that has replayability, right?
Yep. If it makes me want to watch it again or play it again, boy, you win.
and
movie
Ralph,
wins.
Ralph himself, movie wins. Yeah, Ralph himself is such a great complex hero. Going back to God, I'm sorry if you guys can hear the freaking car alarm that's going off. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. Jeff, you can probably hear it because of the mic we record on. But if this is getting through the recording, I'm so mad right now, and there's no way I can't do anything about it. Anyway, Ralph is a complex hero. It's staying in.
Sorry, that was the Angry TC Minute, brought to you by the car alarm outside. Keep going, TC.
The supporting characters. This is another thing that I think is true of this new era of Disney that we're in that the supporting characters also have arcs to them. They aren't as complex, but Vanellope certainly has a journey. She goes through something quite spectacularly. And whether this is intentional or not, she doesn't change. Her world changes, right? She is a more traditional, literally a princess, a more traditional Disney princess in that she does change in that she's willing to accept Ralph's help and have a friend in him. But honestly, her arc is quite small. Her arc is changed by the world around her, which lends to the more traditional princess. And intentional or not, I'm just making that observation.
Because by the time the movie ends, she's in the dress, and then she takes it off, being like, "No, I'm gonna be this." Being her, she's her. She doesn't need to be anything else but herself. That's a good call.
She was her true self all along, and now the world needs to accept that. I will say though she says a democracy, making yourself president is a dictatorship. Just saying. Just saying. We're gonna have a democracy. I'm president.
Guys, we found the movie's giant flaw. We hate this film. That's it. No. Just joking.
And then Calhoun has nice closure in hers. There's something that dawned on me in this one, and it'd be worth Googling to see if I'm sure this is something that someone else has realized. But I'm gonna make the observation. I'm calling it. I'm dibs on this. Calhoun's the one who says to the first-person shooter when her game begins, and this is expert exposition, the bugs become what they eat, right? So they eat a gun, they have gun powers, right? That bug that attacked her on her wedding day ate her fiance, her husband, which means Calhoun had to kill her husband because the
Which would make
cybug would have. So that tragic backstory is even more tragic.
Man, I never made that connection either.
Yeah. So it hit me this time watching it because
Oh, that's so bad.
once I realized that the exposition was being placed like every 5-10 minutes or so, they'd be like, here's a little bit of narrative exposition you need to understand that something that happens later. It's a lot of cause and effect. I noted that she's the one who delivered that information. So when the backstory came up, I'm like, oh my God, that means that cybug turned into her husband and she had to kill him. That's awful.
So not only was it that it was on her wedding day, not only was it that her husband was killed in front of her, but that she then had to kill her husband.
Yeah, that's dark. But she gets the closure. She gets closure in with Felix.
I do like though that at the end when she and Felix get married and it pans up to the glass and it was like no like
Yeah.
I don't remember what Ralph's line is, but it's something like nothing left unturned or not that, but it's like
No bugs
and it's
showed up
just
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, it's like 700 laser points just pointing at the glass, the stained glass window. Oh, that got a big laugh out of
Yeah.
us. We enjoyed that. That was a good joke.
And then there's Felix, who his arc of understanding where Ralph is coming from, and Felix is just the nicest guy. He is Jack McBrayer. He's the nicest guy in the world. Just all his like southern colloquialisms, like, "Oh, you give me the honey glows," and "I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't mean to be cross. You making me so cross right now."
And see, that's one of those things where I wonder if that is if those like the lines came out of the actors doing their thing, like if the directors were like, just be
You.
the intern, just be you, just be the intern from 30 Rock. Do you, John C.
Yeah.
Reilly, just be you. Like honestly, because like Jane Lynch, that's like half the characters Jane Lynch plays.
I just want to
You know?
say she has some of the best like badass dialogue. All her like her war is hell thing. I just said ass and hell in like succession. I'm sorry, Jeff, but
It's okay. I already said hell. This episode is rated PG, guys.
yeah,
Sorry.
she has some all of her lines of dialogue when she's talking about like war is so silly, but she delivers them with such like badassery, and that goes to Felix as well. All of his genuine sweetness, even when I'm darn right cross with you, is just so great. But I love that Felix has a journey as well. He understands. He lets Ralph be the hero in the end, which we can talk about that in a moment as well. But I love all these little journeys of these characters, and then going one step lower, like Maximus and Tangled getting a tiny arc, right? You have Taffeta and Sour Bill and Winchell and Duncan and even Cubert. They all have little stories within the story. And all those layers just make this movie just endlessly fun. Gosh, I obviously am a fan of this film.
It makes it fun, and like we said, it makes it rewatchable. And
Yeah.
that's just what automatically makes it a fantastic win. I guess you guys are probably predicting
guess
where
it
we're
was-
putting this on our list.
We'll keep talking. We're
we'll
not
keep
there
talking.
yet. Because
But it's just such a well done film, and I always find something new in it every time I've watched it, and that's what I like about it. Again, going back to that level of detail, that level of the references that you miss sometimes because it's a throwaway line. I always find something new that I like. That's why I like this movie.
This movie and this revival period that we're in is this is essential. What they're doing here in recreating what Disney movies are is essential for this studio to survive. And the fact that they are so successfully reinventing themselves, finding a new voice, becoming the powerhouse that they are, this is essential to the survival of the studio. The language of this library of films that we have discussed for all these episodes now, the language of Disney is so ingrained into the essence of pop culture that if they just keep churning out the same old thing, we'd get bored with it. And look at something like Brother Bear. Look at some of the lesser films that are trying to do the same old thing or trying to do what someone else is doing successfully. the fact that they've been able to find new twists with villains and heroes with that are searching for perspective in their life, it's a far more contemporary, far more mature style of filmmaking that you don't necessarily get from the classic films in this library, and that is something that they needed to do, and they're doing so well.
Basically, you're saying like Disney needed to grow up.
Yeah,
right. Like to a degree, obviously. Like
to a degree,
it was doing something. Is that growing up the result of them or was it in part of them switching formats and switching mediums and getting out of the hand-drawn style and moving into the CG world? Like, do you think that's kind of like that was like a catalyst for it, or do you think it just kind of happened at both at the same time?
I think their failures have been the catalyst for a lot of what has developed over time. I think Wreck-It Ralph could never have existed when the idea of doing a video game movie came back during the Black Cauldron era, that that video games were becoming. Oh, by the way, there's a Dragon's Lair arcade game in the arcade.
Of course there is. Don Bluth.
But a movie like Wreck-It Ralph could not have been done to this degree of success, even during the Renaissance. And if you look at that post-Renaissance era where they were playing in science fiction, they were playing in arenas that they hadn't done before. There was even growing pains there that a movie like Wreck-It Ralph couldn't exist in. The advent of using CG, the success of Pixar, bringing Lasseter in, the business model of Disney itself changing with their franchises and the marketability of a lot of their characters and films. All of that compounds into creating a movie like Wreck-It Ralph, and for the better, right? We will discuss next week how a lot of that is for technically the worse. We'll get there. we'll preview for next week.
We'll preview.
But another element coming in play here is just cinema itself. I discussed this previously about how cinema and how people view and critique and analyze and watch movies has changed as well. This movie is a product of 80s nostalgia, easily. And we're in 2018 as we record this. We are seeing the final throes of 80s nostalgia, right? We're looking at late 80s nostalgia now, and arcades like this, getting in something like Stranger Things season 2 and a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot. This Wreck-It Ralph plays on that, I think, more successfully than a lot of other throwback films such as Ready Player One or some of the more cynical nostalgic films. This one has an affection for arcades, an affection for the style of gameplay, while telling this story in a much more contemporary setting. I've babbled far too long. Jeff, you need to talk.
Well, no, because that's a good point. That's a good point, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. But right there, this film tells a good nostalgic story, but it doesn't lose itself in the nostalgia.
Yeah, there you go. You know what, Jeff? You babble, and then I clarify. I just babbled. You clarified. We're partners. We're partners.
It only took 52 episodes, but we did it! Yay! That's a brilliant way to look at it, and maybe that's why I like this one over a lot of those more nostalgia heavy project. I mean, I like Stranger Things. It's fun to watch Stranger Things because Stranger Things uses that nostalgia, to tell the story, but that's not what it gets completely lost in. It still focuses on the main core story, that it's a monster story.
Yeah, the setting is the nostalgia, but the story itself it's enhanced by the setting, and it goes the same for Wreck-It Ralph.
And that's where I feel like, again, movies like the Emoji Movie failed because they were just so big. I mean, that wasn't nostalgia, but they were so big on the gimmick that they lost the story. They didn't care about the story because all the story was how do we get them from this thing to this thing? Mm-hmm. Not like, well, let's write a story and then, oh, where could we put something in? Oh, they're going to go to King Candy's castle and he's got Oreos outside marching it. Can we get them to sing the OEO song from Wizard of Oz, but replace it with Oreo? Can we do that, guys? Because that would be hilarious.
Well, the expert execution of this film comes down to pick any character and now map their quest, map their journey, and look how it intersects with the other characters. And having that many threads can make or break a film, and being able to unravel everything that they lay out so well, sticking true to the themes, and having beats such as Ralph ready to yell at Vanellope like, I'm gonna find that little gutter snipe, and then seeing her getting picked on by the other kids and then going, hey, leave her alone. that is such a telling character moment and part of his journey, and it's part of Vanellope's journey as well, and that unraveling of so many different threads is wonderful. Set in this universe, set with the nostalgia. Praise.
Can I praise one? Can I praise one more moment in this film?
Sure, you can praise one more moment, and then I'm going to criticize a moment. How does that? Does that sound
okay,
fair?
That'll work perfectly.
Give us some criticizing.
I know. I hear the people. They're shouting in my right ear.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's my neighbor.
Okay.
No, wait, no, the left ear is TC.
Yeah.
Right ear is my neighbor. I don't know why I'm miking my neighbor. Apparently, never mind. Doesn't matter.
Praise the movie. Go.
It's things like that. Praise the movie. Honestly, what I would compare it to, I guess, our Pixar moment in the film, which is when Ralph has to break the cart.
Oh,
Vanellope's cart.
yeah.
Because it's sorry, I just got chills just thinking about it in my head, and I nearly teared up. Because all I can hear is Vanellope like crying
Pleading.
and screaming for him to stop.
I have a note right here about that very moment. This is one of the greatest betrayal moments we've seen in this library, because it's not a betrayal of hero versus hero against villain. It's this genuine betrayal of trust between poor Vanellope and Ralph, who has to make the hardest decision, and the fact that he is trying to explain to her why he has to do it and she won't hear him out. It's so sad.
It's so sad, and I mean, I'm not a parent, but it kind of felt like a parent taking away a toy from a kid and the kid not understanding but trying to explain why this has to happen. It kind of felt a little bit like that, and it just
this is for your own good.
Yes. You don't understand. I'm helping you.
Yeah.
But it's so, and it's short. It's short. It's like what, not even a minute long of a moment of him realizing what he has to do and then breaking it and breaking the whole thing, and then her telling him, her basically telling him off, I guess.
Yeah.
And the music and the camera angle and the lighting and just the performance of the actors just, it's so well done.
It's beautiful. It's reminiscent of the way Rapunzel feels betrayed by Flynn when he gets the crown back, right? And then he's gone. Like, she gives it to him, then he leaves, supposedly. And that betrayal works in the fantastical fairy tale sense that Tangled unravels it in. But the betrayal moment of Ralph having to do that for Vanellope is such a beautifully powerful moment. And trumped only by, I shouldn't say that, beaten only by,
dang this world,
by his decision. And this is truly a Pixar moment, because they did it even more gut-punchingly hard in Toy Story 3. But his decision to sacrifice himself at the end, when he's trying to smash Diet Coke Mountain and Diet Cola Mountain, and then King Candy takes him up and he releases himself, and he does the Badanon what is it, motto, poem, whatever, as he's choosing to die, he squeezes his hero medal and he puts his fist out, and he's going to die. And that moment is so amazing, because his journey is complete. He has gone from this understandably upset, angry wrecker to using his ability to wreck to save someone's life. God, that's amazing. It's amazing.
And you know what? Even though, there's like a hint that you're like, well, they're not really going to kill him off. It's still, though, well done enough where you can kind of go, are they going to kill him off? Like, is he actually going to die? Because and here's why, and this was one of the discussions we had while we were watching this film, because they had set up the whole if you die outside of your game, you
die
don't
for
come
real.
back. That moment, because he's not inside his game. He's going to kill himself. He's not going to come back. And like that was actually a moment while watching it, and you kind of go, oh God, no, maybe he is going to die. Like you have a moment of wondering if they really will kill this character off, but it's so well done that you kind of go, but it's good. I mean, it's not good. That's the wrong term, but like
appropriate.
It's appropriate. Like, yeah, of course they're gonna kill him off because he's sacrificing himself for for everybody,
and specifically for Vanellope, because who doesn't love a brat with dirty hair?
I know, right? With candy stuck in her head, man, that would take so long to get out of her hair. Why is she so candy?
So if I may criticize a moment,
Yes, please do.
I don't dislike the montage. I just dislike the song it's the Shut Up and Drive song that they use. I feel like down the road that is going to feel super dated as a song. I don't think that's going to stand the test of time. And I'm saying this is standing the test of time, not for you, Jeff, but for everyone else listening. I don't think it's going to stand the test of time like I Want to Be Like You from from the Jungle Book. But it's such a mid 2000s poppy song that I don't like it. It's a great sequence. I love her learning to drive and montages. I love me a good montage. I just don't particularly care for the song. On the other hand, I really like the Owl City song that ends this movie.
Right, the Owl City song that ends it is fantastic. I really dig the kind of 8-bit ish song that I think is playing over the opening narrative section of the film. That's really good. I even don't mind and I don't even like Skrillex. I don't mind the Skrillex song during Hero's Duty when Ralph first goes in.
Well, it's appropriate to the video game.
Right, because that's in my head. I think that's why I'm okay with it, because I went, well, yeah, because it's a sci-fi war film, or a video game where crap's happening all over the place. So yeah, of course Skrillex would score this. Never mind the fact that he is in the party. He's the DJ at the party at the pet house.
Here's my. You want me to just completely BS a reason why that exists?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe in Hero's Duty, in real life, Skrillex did the soundtrack for the game, and as an Easter egg, the programmers put him somewhere in the game, which means he then exists and can leave the game, go to Fix-It Felix's anniversary party, and play the music there. There you go. Boom. Just thought of that right now.
BS approved. I am completely okay with that idea.
All right.
That's a complete... Dang, because in my head I was trying to figure out how he existed in that world.
Boom.
That completely makes sense. Because really, like, why? Like, out of all the pop culture references, why is that in the game? Because, like, okay, if it's an Oreos and if it's Laughing Taffy and if it's the Diet Coke Mountain, that's all in the Sugar Rush game. That would have been put in by the programmers as maybe not a sponsorship, but just as a reference, as a joke.
Right.
So that makes sense to be in that world. So of course, Skrillex being in what you just said completely makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he is in their style. Mm-hmm. He is in Calhoun's animated style.
Yeah.
So that would make sense that it's from the same game.
Boom.
Mind blown.
There it is.
Kiddos.
There it is. Now,
Wow.
Well,
that's all we have for this week, everybody. Listen to us next week when we watch Frozen.
I'm going to make another point, and this isn't necessarily criticism, it's just an observation, in that the design of the characters, when we see them out of their video game, so we don't see Ralph in his 8-bit style, but when we see the way we see Ralph, Calhoun, all the characters, they have that fleshy Pixar quality to them. And right. I mentioned this previously in Tangled, that we are now seeing the standard Disney look in the human characters. Granted, Vanellope's really tiny, Ralph is a monster, Felix is Super Mario, but they have the eyes and the look of the standard Disney. So as much as we've credited Disney for seeking and finding their voice, they've also recaptured a look. If you look at the Renaissance movies, they certainly have a consistent look between Ariel and Belle and whatnot, right? The princes, like the characters look like they all exist together. Now we are in an era of all the human characters, again, looking similar. And part of me wishes for more uniqueness in this movie's wildly unique, and I love the design. I love the look of all the characters. But as an observation of what Disney's look is overall, it's blended with the human quality of the Pixar characters, and it's just a little too similar between all these movies that I just wish for a little tweak or a little bit more uniqueness in the design of these characters. Make sense?
It makes sense. I get it, and I don't know if that's just, is that Disney just trying to brand themselves with their characters? You think that's kind of what it is? Like, this
possibly.
is the Disney look.
Yeah.
This is what we do. Like, you think that's kind of what what they're attempting to do, or like overall, or even subconsciously when they're designing their characters for these films?
Maybe it's because you're working with the same, pretty much the same team overall. That they follow a standard that allows everything to look similarly. It could be that, but it could also be, if you think from a strictly business sense, getting too crazy. Like if Ralph had been 8-bit all the time through the movie, it probably would have been harder to empathize with him if he didn't have like a human quality to him. So it could be a business and production decision to have a look that's tried, tested, and true.
Now, I do know that was one of the things that they wanted to do with the characters, was that the characters were originally, they were all going to be represented in their graphic styles. So like Ralph would have been an 8-bit, or I guess technically Fix-It Felix is probably, I guess that's an 8-bit.
Yeah.
They would have been a 8-bit style, but Calhoun would have been her current style because she is a more modern game. But they ditched that because they couldn't emote with Ralph then.
It was so hard to lends to my theory.
Yeah, because that is the one thing that I did notice. The movie does that with most of its characters. It doesn't matter if they're 8-bit or not. When they're in the game and when they are, when we're looking at them through, from the point of view of the humans, obviously they all look in their counterparts. But then once we go inside their arcade, it kind of pulls out and reveals, no, they're more than just that flat 2D or that flat 8-bit style.
Yeah.
And initially that kind of bugged me because I'm like, wow, why aren't they that? Why is the ghost from Pac-Man actually 3D, and why are all those characters looking like that? But you realize really quickly it's very hard to emote with 4 pixels compared to a fully fleshed out character.
But if anyone could do it, it would be, well, maybe not Disney. Pixar could do it.
Pixar would have done it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But at least then some of the characters still had their like 8-bit animation cycle. That's at least fun.
Oh yeah. Like the people in, what is it, Nice Town, where Fix-It Felix Jr. they all move back.
Yep. almost like a stop motion quality. So did the bartender in the beer tapper game.
Yeah.
He kind of had a like almost a low frame rate claymation style.
Yes, claymation
tone
for
to him.
sure. Yeah, totally.
Yep. Which I love that. I love that look. I love that fake. Like that's the same. It's the same effect that they did for like the Lego Movie. Where it's all CG and they could have made those characters move flawlessly, but they made them kind of move like they were stop motion.
Yeah.
I love that stuff so much. It's so that makes Jeff happy inside.
I love little things like all the racers in Sugar Rush and their gimmicks, like their candy-based gimmick. My favorite is Candlehead. I have to believe this might go like our Ed Wynn theory or some of other things we've spat out here about like why Skrillex. I bet Candleholder was a placeholder name until they could figure out like some cupcake pun, and they were like, let's just keep calling her Candlehead. Everyone cool with that? Okay, Candlehead is her name.
I'm only agreeing with you because I have totally done that while writing a script or creating a product where I'm just like, that's the I'm
name
okay
now.
with anybody want to disagree with me? I mean, we all know who this is and it's kind of funny now, right?
It's Candlehead, yeah.
We're good with it? We'll just leave it. Okay, good. There's no like deeper meaning behind why the character's called that other than we didn't know what to call it and we just left it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Your name is Candlehead. Jeff, overall, I mean, my opinion, this is absolutely a movie to watch. This is one you could sit a kid down, and they'll love it for all the colors and characters and the kinetic energy of it. It's something that
My nieces loved this movie, which is why I watched it so much. They got a kick out of it. It was funny, it was bright, it was colorful, and it was video games.
And I don't think there's any problem with multiple viewings of this because there's so much detail to pay attention to. You can watch the background instead of the principal characters throughout.
I love the zombie and the bad guy meme. I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite characters.
Zombie.
Just, sorry. It's just thinking of like the multiple viewings that just, that he always makes me laugh.
I think there's a good message in this about finding your place, accepting who you are without cynicism, and realizing, and this might be, maybe I'm just spouting this off right now. There is something in this generation of people making this movie for a younger generation. I think that, Jeff, we and maybe many of our listeners fall into a generation that was told you can be anything. And that's just not true. and I don't mean that as to be mean, but there is a reality in you can't be anything. You can only strive to be what you can be, right? And I think that there's a little bit of being able to have that conversation with kids in that Ralph accepting who he is and making the best of his situations without it crushing his soul.
Right. But then even in the same light, you still have Vanellope in that same boat as Ralph, where she fully accepts who she is. Mm-hmm. She's not going to change who she is. She's going to accept her disability. I guess the glitching thing is could be a disability.
Yeah.
But like it's a fault in her character, literally a fault in her character. And she completely accepts it, and she adapts her life to use it.
Yeah.
She gets the opportunity she even gets the opportunity to be something better, without her having to work for it. And she still decides to be the person that she knows who she actually is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I was going to ask, but we kind of wrapped into it. I was going to ask if that was more of whether or not Vanellope turning down the fact of her being a princess was more of that modern day approach to little girls. You don't have to be a princess if you want to just be a race car driver. Just you be you. You don't have to be this.
I think so. I think that there really is something in just because I was born into this doesn't mean I have to continue to be this. At least from Vanellope's perspective, whereas Ralph, he is accepting of the life he has had for 30 years, right? And that's a beautiful thing. And honestly, I was wondering, why isn't Vanellope? She qualifies for all the crowning, right? She's in a successful film. She is royalty. She does something heroic. She hits all the check marks of a coronated princess in the Disney library, and she's not. And I wondered why. Part of me wonders if it's because it's Sarah Silverman. Maybe Disney's like, maybe this is not the best representation.
Yeah. Also, I kind of feel like maybe they're just be like, well, she did denounce herself as wanting to be not being a monarchy and wanting to be a president. So there we go. Yeah. We got out of this one. I don't know.
So I suppose it begs the question to ask, Jeff, of all the movies we've watched in this round of films.
I can't yell at you because there's only two.
There's only two. For those who might be first-time listeners, what we are doing is we've grouped all these movies in 10s. Jeff and I are ranking them 1 through 10 as we go along, so we don't have to rank 1 through 56. We are in the second movie of this set of 10. You can see this list over at our Facebook page and see what we've ranked the previous groupings. And Jeff, I think it's fair to say I know where this is going to end up on your list. Where does it end up there between Winnie the Pooh and this?
Well, everybody, as much as we did enjoy Winnie the Pooh last week, I'm sorry, but Rocket Ralph is my number one just because it's. Every time I watch it, I have a good time. Every time I watch it, I find something new. I always laugh at spots. I always enjoy the story. This time around it was great because I got to watch it with somebody who hadn't watched it before, though she still knew what was going to happen in it because she's smart. She's like me. She still was able to predict it. I didn't care. It was still a blast to watch it. And I just, this movie is just I've only really been praising it. I don't think I really said anything negative.
No, I feel
about
like
the movie.
I as well have not had really a bad word to say about this. And yes, easily this is well leaps and bounds ahead of Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is fine. It's a sweet film, very charming, but Wreck-It Ralph has so much going for it. And I'm very without thinking too hard about what's to come, where Wreck-It Ralph if it'll remain in the one slot, where it will stay, or if it'll move around, right?
Right.
For both myself and you.
I'm excited to see that.
I really think
I'm definitely
that
excited to see that.
As similar as our previous 10 were, Jeff, I feel like this list we're probably going to be quite a bit different. But that's to be determined. How about we go over to Twitter and Facebook and see what the listeners have to say? All right. So over at Facebook.
While you're doing that, okay, go ahead.
Oh, no,
go ahead.
I'm bringing it up. Go ahead.
No, I thought. Okay. Well, I was gonna say while TC's doing that, real quick, TC, I have 2 tropes for this movie.
Oh,
I cannot
please.
let these pass,
Oh,
guys.
I know which one is.
Okay. Do you know? Okay. Okay. TC, let's play this game. TC, guess my tropes.
Okay. Number 1, perpetually barefoot character.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Ralph is barefoot
Yeah,
through the
'cause
whole
it's
thing. The second one.
I only have
though,
2. Number 2.
I don't know what the second one would be. Is Sour Bill an animal sidekick? Does that count?
If we only knew what his species was, except for Gobstopper.
He's a sour. Oh, now I see why they call you Sour Bill. Oh.
No, so my number 2 was the villain is killed by his own doing.
Oh, yeah, he is undone by his own machinations.
Yep. I can never think of the proper way of saying it, so that's why I always say he's killed by his own doing. But TCC says it way more elegant and fancy and better.
Yes.
And is very true. Yes, that is because of him being eaten. Him being attacked by the bug and then becoming a bug, but then ultimately falling prey to the bug's weakness, which was the light, and then he dies that way. So, yeah, that's all. So
now I see the light.
No, look away.
Oh no, yes. Oh my.
Yeah,
no. Have some candy. Over at Facebook.com/Top Shelf Pod. Every week before we record, we toss up the movie we're going to discuss. If you want us to hit some talking points, or if you have any questions, you throw them up there. We try to hit them when we get to the episode. Otherwise, come back Wednesday after these episodes have aired, and feel free to comment on anything we've had to say here. Maybe we've missed something. Maybe you'd like us to elaborate further on something. We love engaging with you guys, and we do have quite a few comments here. I see all positive. I don't see anyone having a bad word to say about Wreck-It Ralph here. First up, Thomas asks us, he wants to call this the best video game, but then he's not sure how Scott Pilgrim feels about it. They're both so good. So I'm going to phrase that as a question. Which is the better video game movie? While you think, I'm a man of many words. Video game movies are notoriously bad. And
yes. And to clarify that, TC, you mean movies that are based upon pre-existing video game properties, right?
Mm-hmm. Movies
Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Lara Croft.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
there is an endless amount of video game adaptations that, oh God, that's not even a video game. That's a board game.
It's a board game. So that should have been the giveaway.
What makes Wreck-It Ralph and Scott Pilgrim so unique is that they are video game movies, but they are not bound or beholden to existing video game properties. I mean, Scott Pilgrim is technically an adaptation of a comic book graphic novel series, and Wreck-It Ralph sure has a lot of homage to classic arcades, but they are independent of that. So the question is, Jeff, which is the better movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World or Wreck-It Ralph? I already have my decision made, but I'm asking you.
Dang. See, that's tough, though, because I love both those movies. Both those films are fantastic movies. TC, put me on the spot like this. I should have thought about this ahead of time. I feel like between the two of them, see, Wreck-It Ralph is good for nostalgia, for reference, or for recognizing known properties, and meanwhile, Scott Pilgrim is just a fantastically well done comedy kind of action film that is based on, not based on, but uses a lot of the tropes and elements of video games, because it's not necessarily referencing a particular one, which I guess could very well make it better, because it's oh man, that's hurting. Guys, that hurts my head. I don't know.
I will
it's a tie
say,
in my head.
in terms of, there's a couple other movies we could add to a list like this, and I don't want to turn this into a whole thing, but like Wreck-It Ralph, Scott Pilgrim, superior to Ready Player One.
Yes,
I think Wreck-It Ralph and Scott Pilgrim are superior to both Tron movies, and also fake video games that eventually became real video games. But I for my money, I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Edgar Wright is a masterclass of visionary auteur direction and writing, and I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. But I think
beautiful, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's it's clever and edited and timing. It's so good.
I am placing Wreck-It Ralph as the better film, if only for the fact that Wreck-It Ralph covers a much wider spectrum of themes and demographics and story. It's a much more complex film. Scott Pilgrim follows one boy's journey to becoming a man through a video game reality. Wreck-It Ralph follows multiple characters through multiple different thematic ideas. And for the complexity of Wreck-It Ralph's storytelling versus the complexity of Scott Pilgrim's just design and production, I'm going to give it to Wreck-It Ralph from a story perspective.
Okay. I
So there
gotcha.
you
I do feel like Wreck-It Ralph is a little more accessible
Yeah.
to the general public than Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Just because of its wider audience in the gaming and like that sort of like area, I guess,
Yeah.
of expertise or hobby.
Scott Pilgrim is far more niche of an audience. And I want to be clear, this is not me saying I don't like Scott Pilgrim. That's why I preambled the hell out of it. So Lindsay from our Top Shelf Oscar podcast said, for her 2 cents, Scott Pilgrim, hands down, tongue out emoji.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I
hands
didn't
down.
even see that.
Yeah.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
Let's see. So Wyatt over the Facebook page says he's gonna pull a bolt and say that this movie is really about Ralph learning to be brave, truthful, and unselfish in order to become a good guy. Totally agree with you, Wyatt. With the help of his cute but crude conscience, Sarah Silverman, Ralph saves Candyland from the clutches of the maniacal Mad Hatter. In the meantime, Mario and Lara Croft partake in maybe the greatest love story of the revival. May or may not be hyperbolic, question mark. I do own this movie. Okay, so Calhoun and Fix-It Felix's love story is so I love it. It's great. It's such an unlikely couple, and
they're literally the opposite of each other. She destroys things with her gun. He fixes things with his hammer. She is 6'5". He's like 1.25 feet.
Golly, ma'am, look at that high definition.
Yeah, 2 very different personalities. Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
So all joking aside from Wyatt, he says that he loves this movie so much. Wreck-It Ralph, to him, at least shows the new age of Disney animation with a focus on technology and pushing the boundaries of what they could tackle in a feature film material. Absolutely. I think he might be the one last week that mentioned discussing Paper Man, which was the short attached to this on its release. And if you have not seen Paper Man, the short, please seek that out. If you want to just see the expertise of animation at work, the shorts that I'm going to give Disney the credit here, but Lasseter and the Pixar team create and have put before the newer of the films, so that they've returned to this tradition of releasing shorts with the features. Paper Man is unbelievably good. the 2D
so good.
animation, the sweetness of the story, it's great.
The score to Paper Man is so beautiful. It's a short. It's a short. It's only like 4.5, 5 minutes long, and it's literally just about a guy like paper airplanes and basically following a woman, like finding a woman.
Yeah,
right?
It's a beautiful little love story with some fantastical elements.
Oh, the piece of music in it is so pretty. I love my
and
music.
short. I just want to stress that again. Short, okay, Coco. Don't try to pull off this 22-minute episode of a Frozen. Okay, I'm not. Okay, let's get to another comment here. Let's get to another comment.
Somebody doesn't like Coco very much.
No. I love Coco. I do not like Olaf's Frozen Adventure that was placed before Coco. Okay, let's be clear here.
Let's be clarified there.
Okay. Our good friend Scarstar, hashtag Scarstar, she says that she
Scarstar.
loves this one and thought the villain reveal at the end was very cool in execution. The best Bowser Koopa film cameo since Mario Brothers movie, and that's not saying much. And also she comments on loving the way the 8-bit characters move. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, Bowser's been redeemed. He's certainly been redeemed in having his appearance here in the Bad-Anon, the Bad Guys Anonymous.
That Bad Guys Anonymous entire sequence, serious, again, that entire sequence just made me so happy. Just, I am not a bad guy.
No, as sweet and as almost cutesy that opening is with Ralph being in that Bad Guys Anonymous, it makes that ending so much more powerful that he uses that with his whole. He uses the poem with his whole heart as he's sacrificing himself. So good.
Yep.
Natasha says, love this movie, saw it multiple times in theaters, and every time I watch it, she finds new cameos and Easter eggs. Darn tootin'. And then Aaron Williams says, up, down, left, right, A, B stars.
Thank you, Aaron. Now we are in the cheat codes. Welcome to the cheat code section of Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios. Please enter your passcode. Please give Jeff 99 lives and all money.
All money, please. It's just gold tokens, though. Yeah.
I'll take it. I can sell it. I know this duck who owns this giant vault. I could totally sell it to him.
That's
he likes
what we
to
have
swim in
here.
it. I don't know. He's got a weird gold fetish. What?
I do have a couple tweets, but we actually hit at them. They were just a couple questions that we ended up talking about naturally. So thank you for your tweets over at Twitter. I'm at TC's Big Head. Jeff is at Random Bell, so you can hit us up there. But thank you for those comments, everybody. Yeah, this is such a fun movie, and like I said, it's one of my default. I have it on my tablet that if I'm on a road trip or if I'm waiting at an airport, which I do plenty of in all my traveling, it's nice to have something that I can digest lovingly, which is what Wreck-It Ralph is. It's that, and the entire Fast and the Furious franchise. That's just the way I roll.
TC has a weird. That's more for a future episode. I have a feeling we'll talk more about your love of the Fast and Furious franchise.
If we ever revive franchise, I will totally discuss Fast and the Furious with you.
Maybe we need to do that in our downtime between this podcast and the next one. Is just do the Fast and the Furious franchise.
There you go. Hashtag TCFF. That's FFF. 3 Fs. Fast and the Furious franchise. So TCFFF. If you want to hear me discuss the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Oh my goodness, TC. We have to do that now. Okay, well, thank you for plugging a previous podcast of ours, TC. Be sure to check out Franchise Schmanchise on iTunes and Google Play.
Available at ghosthead.net as well.
Yes, as well, where we watched an entire franchise of movies and just talked about them, much like this, except we talked about how bad they got so quickly. Die Hard. Oh my goodness.
I think we did. I think we've wrapped it up here.
Anyways, we've reached the end of this episode for this week, guys. Yeah. So next week we'll be returning to watch.
Yes. All right.
Number 53.
Here we go, folks. We need to buckle up.
2013 film.
Here it comes.
Frozen.
We are heading to the land of no, it's not Illyria. It's not a Fantasia. What is the?
We're heading to a land of cold. Just cold. That's all I got.
So,
but we had discussed this before. We are both going into watching this film with completely open eyes, and especially at least for me, I will only speak for me, TC. You can do what you want to, but I'm going into it because I've seen this movie more times than I ever want to admit in my life.
I think many of the people who hate this movie, it is a result of the multiple viewings. I'm going to ask this.
However,
I'm going to ask this. Yes, we are going to give this a fair shake. We are going to try to approach this with the knowledge of 53 movies before it. That is our duty to go into this. I'm not asking you guys to forgive this movie for whatever you hate it for, but I would like to ask this: when we post this episode up, questions and comments, I really want people to be specific about why they hate this movie. And that is not being hyperbolic. People hate Frozen. And I really want people to be specific about this, because if we're going to have any long discussions, it's going to be about the reactions we had with this film. That's all I'm going to say about it now. I don't want to. We're not giving a preview. We're just saying next week is Frozen. I want to hear what you people have to say about it as you hear what we have to say about it.
Definitely.
So cool. There it is. We've done it.
All right. Cool. Puns have already begun, guys. Gosh. Remember Home on the Range? I have a feeling that's what this is going to be next week.
Oh, God.
Oh, it'll be nice to see you then. So with that, everybody, we are going... It took a second.
Yeah,
I kind of said nice, not ice. That's the problem I have. I have to work on my puns. I gotta, prep myself ready for next week. Anyways, that is all for this week. TC, thanks for joining me while we talked about Wreck-It Ralph.
Happy to do it. Happy to always be here with you, Jeff. So.
And with that, everybody, thanks for everybody for listening this week. And then TC, do the sign off.
Well, this has been a podcast. We have been the people you've been listening to, and this is a sign off.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, everybody.
I'm gonna wreck it. Did anybody hear the opening quote from this episode? Did you hear him say top shelf?
Yes. I love it.
I geeked out a little inside. That might just be our new opening.
I have nothing clever to add, Jeff. The episode is over.
This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.